The Eternals 2021. The film opens up with a text look-over that clarifies a short history of Celestials and Eternals. The film alternates among over a wide span of time, showing us everything the Eternals took part ever, including assisting them with propelling their innovation to the point people make the bomb that hit Hiroshima and the Conqueror's victory through America, just as every one of the occasions they shielded the world from the outsider beast hit the freaks up until the 1500s, as they suspected they had killed the remainder of them. Thena is the one that sparkles them all to part by assaulting the Gathering, yet she doesn't kill anybody. Ajak the Pioneer needs to delete her recollections to forestall more assaults, yet Gilgamesh moves forward and says he'll take her and protect everybody. Druig follows into a profound speech regarding how he doesn't care for remaining as an afterthought lines while people butcher one another, so he takes a portion of the close by battling people and leaves. Gilgamesh and Thena go off and live in Australia together. Sprite and Sersi become mates during when Akaris leave Sersi. Sersi begins dating Dane Whitman and educating at an elementary school. Kingo ventures to the far corners of the planet and at last turns into a well-known Bollywood entertainer. In any event, going similar to professing to be his own relatives inside a phony family so he can continue to act. Druig begins a province in the Amazon. Phastos proceeds to carry on with his life by having a family. He has a spouse and a child. Makari has been living in their boat for a really long time. After the freaks begin assaulting again, Sersi, Akaris, and Sprite proceed to attempt to find their chief Ajak, who they track down dead, assaulted by a degenerate which currently has her abilities of recuperating and later becomes Crow. Ajak has a circle in her chest that permitted her to converse with the divine who made them. When Sersi finds the body, the sphere goes into her, permitting her to address the heavenly that made them. The group then, at that point, proceeds to gather Kingo while he's making a film. They utilize his personal luxury plane to travel the vast majority of the film, his valet following along to record a narrative. They travel to Australia to gather Gilgamesh and Thena, while their Sersi converses with the divine again utilizing the circle. They then, at that point, discover that the divine sent the Eternals to ensure a seed that was planted inside the earth. The seed develops into another heavenly inasmuch as the populace develops. The divine made degenerates to kill hunters on planets with the goal that the wise populace would flourish. However, rather they advanced and began chasing down everything, so the heavenly made the Eternals kill the degenerates so the populace might develop. When the seed is finished developing, the rise starts annihilating the world, making another heavenly. After the total obliteration of said planet, the Eternals' minds are then deleted and they are sent onto another planet to annihilate. Thena's recollections weren't totally eradicated, so that is the reason she's going off the deep end. Subsequent to learning this data, they proceed to attempt to persuade Druig to help put the heavenly to bed. There is a battle scene with the freaks, as Crow eats Gilgamesh then, at that point, turns out to be more humanoid. After some persuading, Druig says he can't do it single-handedly, and needs a machine worked by Phastos to try and ponder conceivably doing that, so they all go gather Phastos. Phastos isn't persuaded by the other Eternals that his better half is the one that persuaded him to help. They all return to the primary boat in the desert where Makari is living. They tell her what's happening. Phastos' enormous thought is to interface them all in a uni-mind state, permitting Druig to control the divine. Akaris at long last breaks after individuals begin favoring one side, calling for him to assist with settling on a choice for the group. It streaks back and shows that he was the one that took care of Ajax to Crow and different degenerates, permitting them to advance further. He's likewise known for quite a while their actual reason. However, when he discovered Ajak would have rather not annihilate planets any longer, he killed her. Ajak had chosen to mediate with the development after she watched the Vindicators bring back everybody from Thanos' snap. The Justice Fighters bringing a large portion of the populace back additionally accelerated the rise as per Ajak. The Gathering then, at that point, gets into a battle, prompting Akaris and Sprite leaving together. Kingo leaves too in light of the fact that he concurs with Akaris, however doesn't have any desire to battle his companions. Thena persuades Sersi that what she's doing is correct and that they need to save the planet. After Sersi is persuaded to proceed with their main goal to save Earth, Phastos takes the circle that permits Sersi to converse with the Celestials to make wristbands to interface the Eternals. They then, at that point, fly in their boat to the wellspring of the development. When they show up they associate with Druig in an endeavor to control the Heavenly. Akaris begins battling the Gathering, harming Druig so he cannot finish his association with the Heavenly. They then, at that point, conclude that it's best for Cersei to utilize her powers to interface with the Heavenly to kill it. While the others in the Gathering divert Akaris, Crow comes in and stirs something up with Thena. Thena kills Crow and in doing as such recovers control of her recollections. Phastos and Makari are successful at standing their ground against Akaris. At one point Phastos has Akaris caught and incapable to utilize any of his powers, utilizing some sort of force hosing gadget he made at the time. Cersei endeavors to interface the Heavenly, however Sprite comes up and fiercely betrays her with a blade. Druig then, at that point, appears suddenly and takes out Sprite with a stone. Cersei associates with the Divine and starts transforming it into stone. Akaris breaks free and attempts to stop her, however acknowledges he can't on the grounds that he adores her. Cersei then reconnects to the Heavenly, however this time with the assistance of the other Eternals, totally transforming it into stone. Akaris begins crying since he can't choose whether or not to keep battling them or go along with them. After this is done Akaris takes off straight into the sun. Cersei utilizes what little power she has left from associating with the Divine to make Sprite a human, however, it doesn't state whether or not she kept her powers. Druig, Thena, and Makari go off in their boat to find more Eternals. Dane maintains his affection for Cersei and is going to uncover confidential with regards to his family ancestry when she, alongside Phastos and Kingo, are remotely hauled into space by Arishem, who is disappointed with their conspiracy yet chooses for spare humankind in case the Eternals' recollections show that people are deserving of living. He pledges to return for judgment prior to vanishing into a peculiarity, taking them with him. Mid-credits scene, Thena, Makari and Druig are visited by the timeless Eros, sibling of Thanos, and his associate Pip the Savage, who proposition to help them. Post-credits scene, Dane Whitman opens an old chest acquired from his predecessors that contains the unbelievable coal black sharp edge when an inconspicuous individual